Hi, I'm Kit Bradley and welcome to Media Mayhem. Normally I do movies, but today I'm going to take a break from that and look at professional wrestling in the form of Jim Cornette. Odds are, if you're watching this, it's because you're hoping I'll talk shit about Cornette, and I will, don't you worry. For the handful of you who don't know who he is, Jim Cornette used to be important in the world of professional wrestling. He was a manager, which is a performer who acts as a mouthpiece for a pro wrestler who isn't very good at talking, and a booker, which is the person who decides wrestling storylines. He's owned or co-owned some wrestling promotions, particularly Smoky Mountain Wrestling and Ohio Valley Wrestling. He's worked with pretty much every major wrestling promotion in America and quite a few overseas too. But he isn't what he used to be. He's changed and adapted. While no longer working with any of the major wrestling promotions, he has a good online presence, and that presence is centered around outrage. Famously, Cornette isn't happy with the state of modern pro wrestling. He yearns for the days of yore when Haas's had slobber knocker matches, big dudes smashing into each other, or more technical mat-based wrestling, invariably with heavyweights. Pro wrestling has moved on for that, mostly because of mixed martial arts. We know what people fighting look like nowadays. All the youngs who are interested in that watch the UFC. Sorry, Jim, that's the fact. What you want is dead, and it's not coming back. So, the wrestling that remains has gone down the road of being physical theater. Daring acrobatic moves are more interest to modern audiences than trying to convince anyone that wrestling is real. While at the same time, storytelling in pro wrestling has also moved on. Today's kids aren't interested in the highly racist, homophobic, and sexist storylines of the 20th century. And to Jim Cornette, this is a fucking war crime. He uses his platform to frequently attack modern wrestlers and audience. The moral mayhem is his utter lack of self-awareness. One of the themes he returns to again and again is that modern audiences are whiners who use their social media platforms to attack the kind of professional wrestling he likes. He does this by using his social media platform to attack people who don't like what he likes. What brought my video on is typical online shenanigans for Jim Cornette. At a WWE event, Grogner announcer Jerry Lawler, who is 70 years old and comes from the same generation of wrestlers as Cornette, called a move by a Japanese wrestler a ramen noodle moonsault. It was insensitive, but Lawler's whole fucking career has been insensitivity. Honestly, I'm more surprised he doesn't do this kind of shit more often, given the extent of his racism, sexism, and homophobia. It's all over his career. Even more stunning is that WWE would hire a dude with such an extensive and multifaceted resume of bigotry. The internet noticed, mostly in a negative way, that Lawler continues to be racist. This did not sell with Cornette, who tweeted, "So now people are mad at Jerry Lawler for telling a joke. Now I understand why modern wrestling sucked, because most modern wrestling fans are such whiny little pussies that they don't deserve good wrestling. How did these people go out in public without breaking out in tears? Hashtag whine." As I said, no self-awareness. Also, what's the dig on pussies? They're strong, flexible, and create all human life. Represent the pussy dudes, they rock! But to Cornette, when someone complains about something he doesn't like, well, he throws a sexist pejorative in their direction. Because when you're a carbuncle on the ass cheek of life, the worst thing you can imagine calling another person is a woman. So yeah, that's Cornette defending Lawler's racism with sexism. Two peas in a pod. The lack of self-awareness comes in because, isn't he doing what he condemns modern wrestling fans of doing? When they complain, they're terrible people. But when he complains in the same way, in the same venue, he's what? A pillar of virtue speaking truth to power? Come on, Jim, pull your head out of your bunghole. You're not making any sense here. When you complain about how they're complaining, you're just becoming what you hate. Outrage is how social media operates. Hell, this video itself is an example of it. I looked at what Cornette said and I'm like, that's a moral contradiction, a sign of high hypocrisy and low moral character. So I'm making a video whose overarching point is that Jim Cornette sucks. That he's an out-of-touch old man telling the kids to get off his lawn. That he's too stupid or self-absorbed to understand what he loves about pro wrestling, can't compete with the UFC's constant stream of graphic hyperviolence, and the storytelling he loves has died a just death because of so many bigoted flaws. So, I'm outraged, and I made a video about his outrage and other people's outrage at Jerry Lawler. That's the internet. That's social media. That's how it's designed. Jim, you need to up your game. You don't even exist without the very outrage you rail against. Embrace your vitriol. Be proud that you're a bigoted, shit-flinging monkey. Your outrage will be better, more trenchant, honed to a finer edge if you abandon all pretense that you're above the fray. Don't hate the people you attack, embrace them. They are your kith and kin. You are the same as these snowflakes that you hate, and that's okay. That's it, I'm Kit Bradley, and this has been Moral Mayhem. Thanks for joining me, and do me a solid by liking, subscribing, and clicking the notifications button. At this point, I don't know what's going to go on next. Maybe I can finally get that Ender's Game video uploaded. We'll see. Everyone take care of yourselves out there. See you soon.